So we talked also about immigration, and Steve, you mentioned it from a historical perspective, and Jacob, you mentioned also the stats on immigration. It is happening already that the last tranche of baby boomers is retiring. We have declining birth rates, as you mentioned earlier, Jacob, and also we want to grow the country. We want to grow the economy. We don't want to become Western Europe. We don't want to become Japan. Yet the subject of immigration obviously is hotly debated and will be hotly debated in the next couple of years again. What can we say about the Latino immigration at the moment and its place in the growth of the economy from the studies perspective? And then Steve, I'd like your view as well.
I mean, I think the interesting thing is actually that when you look at the long-term history of population growth in the United States, we tend to think of the United States as a country of immigrants, which is true, relative to most other countries in the world. But when you look at the sources of population growth, until recently, it was actually 2/3 to 75% growth that came from the growth of the native population because of high fertility rates in the native population. Now, as these have come down, obviously, now we're at a situation where overall population growth has come down, but the share of population growth that comes from immigration is now just about 50%. And if we look forward, so you can basically say from that point of view, the U.S., ironically, is a nation of immigrants more than it has arguably ever been, or at least for the last 50 years, as a share of the total population growth. And that, as the native population will continue to decline, and the latest fertility rate numbers are not very good. If I were to ask you, for instance, which country in the world, which country has the highest fertility rates of the latest available numbers, is it the United States or is it Russia? Which one do you think it will be? Now, it's a leading question, but it's Russia. That tells you both that Russia is higher than you think, but also that the United States is at the lowest fertility rates ever recorded at the moment, and falling. So what this tells you overall is that the U.S., if we wanted to sustain economic growth, needs to become an even more country of immigrants than it has been.